If you're a fan of roguelike games, 2024 was probably a great year for you. But with all these new releases, it's easy for some really fantastic games to fall under the radar. Hey people, Voice talking to you, and today we're taking a look back at 5 of the best new indie roguelike games from 2024. If you want to check out any of these games for yourself, there will be links to each of them down in the description, and alongside that will be links to my full reviews of each game and my playthrough streams, just in case you'd like to see a deeper dive or some first-hand gameplay. With that, let's get into it. Starting off strong with number 5, it's None Shall Intrude. This is a dark fantasy deck builder roguelike where we are the final boss. As a massive and supremely powerful dragon, we were largely content to slumber away in our lair full of gold. But when a foolish dragon slayer ambushes us and steals our treasure, we set out on a kingdom-spanning rampage to seek revenge on the foolish mortals who dared to attack us. The combat system in this title is deceptively simple. We have a certain number of action points each turn we can spend on attacks and spells to harm and hinder approaching enemies. The real strategy happens on the battlefield itself. Most of our abilities not only deal damage, but also apply an elemental effect on the combat map. Now, since we are the boss, we don't actually move around the field, instead using the terrain to our advantage against hordes of attackers. Elemental effects can stack and interact to produce powerful effects, such as restoring our action points, providing us with cover, and, of course, dealing massive damage to enemies. Despite its simple premise, this is a game with some awesome tactical depth and a fascinating elemental system. Dashing right in at number 4, we have Into the Dead: Our Darkest Days. Originally, Into the Dead was a mobile runner game where the player would dodge or blast their way through crowds of zombies to try and get as far as they could. Though not super unique from other runners, it was the impressive atmosphere and art design that hooked players on these titles. Now, Darkest Days is the series' first entry into a full-fledged survival roguelike, with a lot of the same visual and gameplay style as this War of Mine. The year is 1980, and a zombie outbreak has the scenic tourist town of Walton, Texas in a sweltering stranglehold. Local law enforcement and military have been overrun, and the city government has evacuated. We pick from one of several pairs of survivors, each with their own backstory and stats, of course, and make our way from safe house to safe house across the city. There's some impeccable environmental storytelling in this title, and as we explore the vibrant but devastated locations across the map, we have to scavenge for supplies, find other survivors, and look for a way to escape the city. With the resources we find, we can craft new items and upgrade our base to better withstand the hordes outside, but don't think that making it back in one piece will be easy. Being vastly outnumbered by the Walking Dead, survival is greatly dependent on our ability to navigate the environment without waking the horde. Those zombies in the background there aren't just for show, and if one spots you, you'd better hope you have a clear route to the escape. Because we're invisible like this. Completely safe. Our stealth maximized. It's bleak, it's tense, and if a survivor gets overrun, there's no way to bring them back. Losing all your survivors means you start over from scratch, so learning from your mistakes will be the only way to survive in the long run. Stepping up to number 3, it's The King is Watching. In this clever roguelike city builder, we are the ruler of a kingdom of the world's laziest subjects. Our people are so lazy, in fact, that they will only work when we're staring at them. Fortunately, we're also a clever king, and have built this big Eye of Sauron-type tower to better observe our kingdom. The city inside our castle is divided up into tiles, some of which offer different bonuses or penalties for building on them. Our kingly gaze can only cover a certain number of tiles at any given time, and the buildings will only function while our gaze is upon them. That means no trees get cut unless we oversee it. No soldiers get trained unless we're watching. Problem is, our kingdom lies on the frontiers of monster territory, and each day a new horde of monsters will attack our castle. Unless we continually improve our defenses and train new soldiers, our walls will quickly fall to the encroaching horde. That means we have to be strategic about which buildings we construct, and even where we decide to put them. Adjacent buildings can offer each other bonuses and are easier to watch at the same time. There's even different builds for our castle depending on how we want to focus our efforts and which encounters we choose to take through the game's prophecy system. This mechanic allows us to choose which waves will be attacked by and when. Harder waves means better rewards, so choose carefully and don't let your workers slack off. Claiming the throne at number 2 is the surprise indie hit Sultan's Game. In this sadistic card game, we are a member of the Grand Sultan's court. Unfortunately for us, this Sultan is almost comically evil. He claimed the throne through treachery and violence, and now that he has everything he could ever want, he finds himself pretty bored. That is when a wandering magician from a distant kingdom approaches the Sultan with a new game to bring excitement to his life. A game of fates in which cursed cards are drawn, each with its own terrible requirements the Sultan must fulfill, such as carnal conquests, extravagant displays of wealth, or savage bloodshed. After putting up with weeks of watching the Sultan's grotesque game, we step forward and rebuke our ruler. Instead of being executed on the spot, we are sentenced to play the game in the Sultan's place. We must fulfill the requirement of each card drawn within 7 days or face summary execution. Given the nature of the game, however, the Sultan gives us full immunity from the law to do whatever it takes to complete a card. With time against us, we must carefully spend our days to gather allies and resources to complete each card if we want to keep our head. Though the Sultan might be willing to lap up our awful deeds, others may be less inclined to look the other way. That is where the clever nature of this game comes into play. Do you use the cards as an opportunity to gain vast wealth and power, or do you try and outsmart the Sultan by finding alternative ways to complete each trial? Everything in this game is a card. Challenges are completed by playing people, money, and other assets in specific events. People cards have different skills to consider, and our reputation among certain factions will influence which events appear and how they'll play out. With some epic art and captivating writing, this is a surprisingly gripping game that's sure to keep you wondering how you could possibly survive to the next day. Blasting its way in at number 1, it's Witchfire. This adrenaline-fueled FPS RPG roguelike puts us into the massive leather boots of a prayer, a demonically enhanced witch hunter that wields turncoat magic and powerful divine weapons. In a world devastated by calamitous curses cast by an almost godlike witch during the time of the Salem witch trials, the church saw fit to fight monsters with monsters. Boasting a gameplay style reminiscent of recent Doom titles and a gorgeous aesthetic in the same realm as Warhammer Fantasy, this dark fantasy powerhouse has a little bit of everything. There's dangerous and stunning environments to explore, clever puzzles to solve, powerful relics to find, and mind-bending lore to uncover. Each expedition into the witch's territory is its own run, and the armies of demons and undead will reorganize each time we venture in. Defeating enemies and recovering treasure is the only way to advance, but finding a portal back to our safe haven without dying is the real challenge. If we do fall in battle, everything we're carrying will be left at our grave, which we can recover if we live long enough to get there. Assuming we can extract with these treasures, we can spend them to level up, improve our weapons, and even construct new arms and spells with the help of the church's engineers. As much as I love the visceral combat and stellar visuals, creating new builds with this wicked assortment of guns and magic is by far my favorite part of this game. Now, the sheer variety of armaments is one thing, but each weapon also has its own backstory, its own unique style, and its own abilities that drastically change the flow of combat and offer tons of ways to take the fight to the witch. If you love action shooters, tense roguelikes, or just a good old-fashioned witch hunt, then this one's for you. As a longtime lover of indie games and an avid roguelike player, I feel like we were really spoiled for choice with the demos and playtests we got to see in 2024. And so far, this year is shaping up to be just as good. But I'm just the voice in your head, so how do you feel about these games? Have you played any of these games? What did you think? Are there any that really stick out to you, or is there another game that you feel should be on this list? What games are you most excited for in 2025? Let's talk down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, leaving a like helps me out a ton. And if you want more, subscribing is the best way to support the channel and keep new content coming your way, because I put out new stuff every week. Thanks so much for listening to me today, and you'll be hearing from me again real soon.